Hello, folks. 1 minute before we go. So if you can call our other colleagues and comrades to please come down. So we are about to start the program. Thank you. Kapsan ka.
Recording in progress. Recording stopped.
Tara, Michael, let's go. Marami kaming ano dito. Marami kaming recruit, Nick. Okay.
Recording in progress.
Stand up. Don't give up the fight. Stand up. Stand up for your rights. Stand up. Don't give up the fight. Don't Gonna do stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Stand up to fight. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Fight. Most people say great God will come from the sky. Take away everything. Make everybody feel high. If you know what life is worth, you will look for yours on earth. Now you see the light. What you gonna do? Stand up for your rights. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Understand. Mighty God is a living man. Fool some people sometimes, but you can't fool all the people all the time. Now you see the light. What you gonna do? Get up, stand up, stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight.
Mic check, it works? Does it work?
Yeah.
Can you
thank
hear us?
Woo. Thank you very much, Migrante.
Woo!
Migrante. Be applause for Migrante. Good afternoon, good evening for you are, for wherever you are in the world. I am Helda Hasmi from Seruni, Indonesia.
And I'm Cody Urban from the United States, the belly of the beast, from the Resist US-led war movement,
Welcome
to the launch of the International People's Front. So we have a lot of people tuning in today. It's a hybrid event. So we have lots of people here in person and we have others online. There's a lot of different organizations joining us today, including the Asia Pacific Research Network, the Asian Peasants Coalition, Asian Rural Women's Coalition, Indigenous Peoples Movement for Self-Determination and Liberation, International Association of Democratic Lawyers, the International League of People Struggle, the International Migrants Alliance,
and International Women's Alliance, People Coalition on Food Sovereignty, Resist US-led Wars Network, Working Youth Brigades, and International People Research Network.
All right, keep that applause going for all the orgs here today. Make some noise. All right, it's amazing to have so many different organizations here representing so many different regions of the world and so many networks. One more time, give another round of applause for yourself.
Yes, Cody, and we also join online via Zoom by different organizations. Aside from that, we also broadcast live at the social media page of ILPS. And please share our live feed today and use the hashtag International Solidarity and hashtag People's Fraud.
All right. Thank you, Helda. Um, for coming. It's a big moment. Took a lot of work to get us here today. That's right. We got a really powerful lineup today of speakers, of cultural performances. But before we do that, should we get a chant? Maybe a little audience participation? Yeah? All right. Helda, lead us away.
Yes, representing the people united will never be defeated.
The people united will never be.
Person and for the opening remarks on what the international community is today. Video.
Okay, we've got some tech issues coming up because what would be the launch of a brand new organization without a few issues? But luckily, we're also people, real people in seats. No tech issues in real life. Sorry to everyone who's tuning in. But actually, this is huge. It's a from all these years. I don't even know. I mean, I guess it's been what 2 years of the pandemic. It's feeling like forever that we have. We forget to put on off mute or our camera doesn't work. So it's super exciting to see everyone here in person gathered from so many different networks. And oh, Sarah. Okay. One moment, please. Is it you? Okay. Okay. So while we get Len, while we find him lost on the internet, we're gonna now actually go to a current world situationer that was prepared by the ILPS Chair Emeritus, Professor Jose Maria Sison. And we're gonna pass it over to Sao Jenny Rangang to read it. So the floor is yours. Let's give it up for Saro.
Yes, thank you very much, Helda and Cody. It's really a big honor to read to you all slightly summarized version of the speech of Joma Sison. It's really a nice privilege to do this, and I thank the organizers for asking me to do this. Prospects of anti-imperialist struggle and resurgence of socialism. The conditions are exceedingly favorable for the advance of the anti-imperialist and democratic mass struggles in all types of countries, be they imperialist or imperialist dominated. They arise as a result of the intensifying major contradictions in the world capitalist system. Once more, they lay the ground for great disorder and turbulence in this system and the resurgence of the world proletarian socialist revolution. Even now, there is already a strong trend towards another globally devastating economic crash. The revolutionary forces of the people ought to sharply point out the criminal all-sided accountabilities of the predatory classes for the currently worsening global economic super crisis and condemn any obfuscations of their accountability, like making COVID-19 and any ensuing pandemic as the cop-out reason. They have no choice but to fight back with all vigor. On a global scale, the subjective forces of the proletarian revolution can be established and developed faster than ever before. Optimally, the Communist Party, as genuine revolutionary party of the proletariat, must adhere to the theory and practice of Marxism, Leninism, Maoism. In the course of political struggle, it must be able to unite with the basic masses of the oppressed and exploited people, win over the middle forces, take advantage of the splits among the reactionaries, and isolate and destroy the power of the class enemy or foreign aggressor. It must have a people's army to be able to wage the armed revolution and seize political power. Those interested in waging revolution in any country must avail of the history and experience of communist parties that have won victories in Russia, China, DPRK, and Eastern Europe. It is not necessary for an international of communist and workers' parties to exist for a country to start the development of the armed revolution. There is a far longer history of communist and workers' parties that are equal to each other and independent of each other under proletarian internationalism and anti-imperialist solidarity. If there's yet no bulwark of socialism as strong as the Soviet Union or China in the past, the revolutionary parties of the proletariat can devise ways of conferences, consultations, and communications in order to exchange information, experiences, and ideas, and raise the level of revolutionary struggle among the proletariat and the people. Since the undeniable successes of the modern revisionist to sabotage the socialist revolutions in the Soviet Union, China, and Eastern Europe, restore capitalism, and disintegrate the international communist movement, the most successful anti-imperialist formations have had a mass character, among them the International League of People's Struggle. This can be powerful mass basis for promoting the establishment and development of the revolutionary parties of the proletariat. Let us not forget that while the Third International existed, Stalin developed the Popular Front as an international democratic and anti-fascist force starting in 1935. Thus, he helped the communist parties in various countries to prepare against the imperialist and fascist preparations for war by encouraging various types of mass formations according to class and sectoral democratic interests. There is a big difference between the circumstances of the founding of the Third International and the circumstances when attempts were made to organize an international as successor to the Comintern outside of any country as the bulwark of socialist revolution. The problem is not merely the lack of a socialist bulwark, but also the inadequacies of programs to fight the continuing influences of modern revisionism, all sorts of reformism and subjective idealism propagated by the ideologues and publicists of the imperialist powers. Since then, significant advances have occurred in the objective conditions for waging the revolution and developing the subjective forces of the revolution. And it is not surprising if there are now renewed efforts to organize a new communist international. But let us first evaluate how much advances need to be made by the initiating parties in terms of ideological, political, and organizational victories in the revolutionary struggles of the proletariat and the people in their own country. Thank you.
Woo! That's a great speech. Long live international solidarity.
Long live internet.
Thank you, Sarol. It's even more urgent now for people to come together in a united front organized at the international level to mobilize organizations and individuals from the local to national and up to international levels to coordinate, cooperate, assist, and together fight imperialism and its agenda in all its forms.
Yes, exactly. And that's what brings us and our movements all here today, right? Right? Okay. So now as we still work to locate Len somewhere in the virtual universe of the internet, we have Len. We found him. All right, so we're going to go now to Len Cooper, chairperson of International League of People Struggle. Yeah? Okay, looks like we're still, the internet's a weird thing, right? We've been on Zoom so long, we know how weird the internet is. So here's another chant. This is one. Oh, there he is. Let's give it up for Len Cooper, everyone.
Take 2, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to you all at this very important meeting. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you here today. We know that the mass of humanity in the world suffers from the wars, plunder, exploitation and environmental vandalism of capitalism, of imperialism. We know that US imperialism, dressed in the false clothes of liberalism and democracy, tramples on the rights of the workers, peasants and other toilers right across the globe. American profit makers have killed and maimed millions in wars for super profits in other countries, for control of colonies, for cheap labour, for minerals and other riches, and for strategic advantage, so it can continue to profit. The wages and income of workers and other toilers is under savage attack, and these toilers are angry about it and want something done about it. The income of toilers who are not working, that is, the unemployed, those on welfare payments and otherwise disadvantaged, are under attack, and these toilers are angry about it and want something done about it. The workers and other toilers are seeing the environment of the planet being destroyed by big business profit making. They are angry about that and they want something done about it. The right to struggle, to campaign, to strike, to protest, these basic democratic rights are being denied to more and more workers and other toilers, and they are also angry about it and want something done about it. The workers and other toilers do not want war, certainly not wars for profit, waged by the wealthy, and they want something done about this. Who is doing something about these travesties of the capitalist system? Of course, many people are doing something about it, like my organisation, the International League of People Struggles, ILPS. It has developed into a mass united front of hundreds of mass organisations which are fighting imperialism and or reaction. and the ILPS is doing well in that regard. But much, much more needs to be done. We need to be moving billions of the Earth's toilers on all these issues and more, for it is only the mobilisation, the struggle to change the world in the people's interests that frightens these wealthy spoilers of the planet. We know from history that imperialism, in the final analysis, will turn to fascism when threatened, when their wealth making is threatened. The people in their billions need to resist this and crush it before it gets hold. Fortunately, you have before you today a proposal to build a united front of the people, a people's united front, to help fight imperialism and its vile impacts on the people, to help fight fascism as it puts up its ugly head. The International People's Front, IPF, is being launched formally. The IPF has grown out of a call to establish a united front of mass people's organisations to help fight imperialism and fascism. A number of mass organisations have come together, including the ILPS and many other networks across the globe. Many fighting people's organisations have been working most of the year to embrace the proposal of an International People's Front. I congratulate them on that, and they have been sensational in what they've done. Many more need to embrace it, to work with it, join it and build it. The International People's Front is one such opportunity. We have a world to win, fight imperialism and fight fascism. Build a new world where the social needs of the people are met, are championed, and where profit making is thrown onto the historical scrap heap. Thank you.
All right, keep it up for Len. That's right. Fight imperialism, fight fascism, build a new world.
Now, I want to invite you to chant with me. This is a chant with from my country. Rakyat bersatu tak bisa dikalahkan. Tak bisa dikalahkan. Rakyat bersatu tak bisa dikalahkan. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Helta. All right, so now we're going to move into some solidarity statements for the launching of the IPF. First, from different organizations that are either here today or represented virtually. So first, well, I want to hand it off to Nilüfer Koç from Kurdistan. So thank you, Nilüfer. The floor is yours.
Honestly, I was speaking the last 3 days. And today I was shouting my mouth because I've spoken too lot. It is important, of course, to speak, because through speaking, we are sharing the experiences. It's my duty to share the experiences of the Kurdish movement with the comrades from Philippines and other countries, and also comrades who are working in different fields. Now, a lot of academicians and researchers are saying that worldwide we are facing 488 conflicts and wars. I don't know if it's true or not, but I've seen Middle East, we have everywhere war. So facing wars means there's a problem in the world system, and we do believe these 488 wars, conflicts, fights are consequences of the crisis of the capitalist system. So the system is right now in a chaos. This is good for us because it's offering us opportunity to make use from their weaknesses. There's a fight between the global and regional powers, and we as national organizations, wherever we are acting in different fields of problems or in ethnic liberation movements, we all do we all do know from the experience of history that we can overcome the crisis of the capitalist system when we are united. But building united fronts is not the easy task. It's need a culture of critics and self-criticism. We are right now in the process of building fronts of people around Kurdistan. In our revolution in Rojava, in our process of democratization in Turkey, in our efforts in democratization for the people in Iran and also in Iraq. But we have a lot of advantages also. We have experience of history, which Comrade Sison was explaining in his statement. The experience of the Soviet Union, the experience of the Paris Commune, the experience of united fronts amongst the anarchists in history, all are offering us lessons. Lessons learning from their strength, but also from their weaknesses. And we have been here in the last 3 days to express what we learned from them, because we are a continuation of their spirit, the spirit of socialism. And I do believe this is the right time to unite the people for socialism. In Kurdistan, we are doing the experiment of socialism through the women's freedom movement. Because we do believe liberating women will change the character of patriarchy in the society, which is the base also of capitalism. This is our understanding of socialism, because all of us are coming from different backgrounds, different historical experiences, and different societal cultures. Nevertheless, however you are fighting in Asian continent, some in the US, some in South America, some in Africa, it's important to find common grounds. And that's why I think the efforts led by the ILPS and member organizations to declare today a front for unification of the oppressed people, oppressed professions, oppressed peasants, oppressed workers, oppressed women, oppressed youth is the right time. And in this, I would say I congratulate all of you and also us that we come together to declare this historic event today. Thank you.
Thank you, Nilova. White. Yeah. Can you lead for Kurdistan? What? Lead for the Kurdistan. Okay. Yes, Kurdistan.
Jin, Jian, Azadi. Women, freedom, life. Jin, Jian, Azadi.
Thank you, Nilova. Now, in solidarity to the International People's Front, Malcolm Guy will read the message from Yong-il, Secretary General, Korean Committee for Solidarity with the World People. Floor for you, Malcolm.
Potential tech difficulties in the real world. It happens too. All right. Oh, it fully loaded. All right. All you.
Yes, thanks. Anyway, I'm honored to read it. I spent time with some Korean comrades recently when we were traveling across Europe. So I'm very pleased to be speaking in their behalf. So please receive our warm greetings from the Korean Committee for Solidarity with the World People. We also send our warm greetings to all the members of the ILPS who contributed their sincere efforts to organize the meeting in such a difficult time. It is a pity that the KCSWP cannot participate in this meaningful meeting, but we send our written speech to the meeting. This time, we would like to mention about the US's hostile policy towards the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. KCSWP expresses its expectation that you would have a correct understanding of the US's hostile policy towards the DPRK and raise voices of international solidarity in the struggle for realizing international justice. Deep-rooted U.S.'s hostile policy towards the DPRK dates back over decades. After World War II, the U.S. designated the DPRK as arch enemy on the pretext of that the latter had different ideology and system, and puts an obstacle to its strategy for holding hegemony over the whole world. Since then, it has persistently pursued its hostile policy towards the DPRK. Since the DPRK emerged as a sovereign state in the international arena, the U.S. never recognized the DPRK's sovereignty and left no stone unturned in stifling it. Korea was liberated from the colonial rule of the Japanese imperialists with the defeat of Japan in August 1945. The U.S. landed its troops in South Korea and occupied it by force on September the 8th, 1945, on the pretext of disarming the vanquished Japanese troops, and ignited aggressive war to remove fresh-founded DPRK in its cradle, thus forcing miserable misfortune to the Korean people. After the Korean War, the U.S. has intentionally pursued protraction in a state of armistice, systematically abrogating paragraphs of the Korean Armistice Agreement. Article 4, paragraph 60 of the Korean Armistice Agreement specifies that within 3 months since the agreement came into effect, both sides should hold a political conference of a higher order to settle the question of the withdrawal of all foreign forces from Korea and so on. However, on 8th of August 1945, just after they had concluded the Armistice Agreement, adopted the Mutual Defense Treaty with South Korea, thus creating artificial difficulties in the course of peaceful settlement of the Korean issue. The U.S. intentionally broke off the Geneva Conference for peaceful settlement of the Korean issue in June 1954 and refused to accept a large number of peaceful proposals and initiatives put forth by the DPRK, including the proposal for concluding a peace agreement between the DPRK and the U.S., a proposal for convening a three-party talk with South Korea presence in the DPRK-US talk, and a proposal for the establishment of new peacekeeping system, and a proposal for declaring the end of the war, etc. The U.S. until now has started to stage the joint military exercise Focus Lens with South Korea against the DPRK in 1954, has been persistently waging various nuclear war exercises targeting the DPRK, merely changing their names into Focus Retina, Freedom Bolt, etc. The U.S. hostile moves toward the DPRK went on without cease. In early 1950s, the U.S. declared the DPRK as an enemy state threatening its security and severed all economic relations with it. Since the U.S. put into force the Trade Agreement Act law imposing a tenfold tariff on the DPRK's trading partners, it has imposed sanctions on the DPRK for more than half a century. The U.S. has imposed unprecedented economic sanctions on the DPRK with all sorts of laws, including the Trading with Enemy Act, Export Administration Act, etc., while forcing its followers, including the South Korean authorities, not to enter on economic cooperation with the DPRK. Cooperation and exchange between the North and South of Korea was activated under the ideal by our nation itself in the 2000s. Then the U.S. blocked cooperation works in every way, spinning out sophism that if South Korean authorities offer cooperation to the DPRK and move ahead of the U.S., can U.S.-South Korean cooperation be created? When some of the 386 computers are connected to each other, can they be solely used for a military purpose? as a chemical fertilizer could be used for production of conventional explosives. Its verification should be followed, etc. The US put the DPRK on the list of terrorist area as an enemy state and froze funds of the DPRK in other countries. Not content with this, it disturbed and maneuvered so that the DPRK couldn't do trade transactions with other countries and enter into the foreign markets. Finding a fault with the DPRK over its self-defense measures for building a nuclear deterrent to cope with ever-growing nuclear threat of the US instigated the UN to disturb regular trade dealings of the DPRK from 2006 at a time when the DPRK carried out an underground nuclear test until today. In addition, the US spared no funds and investment in espionage and moves for ideological and cultural infiltration, and in undermining from its interior aimed at overthrowing the DPRK system. In order to drive the inter-Korean confrontation to extreme situation in South Korea, the US set up the anti-DPRK plot organizations, including Civil Alliance for Human Rights in North Korea and Network for Democracy in North Korea, in a big way, and has poured a great deal of funds into these organizations. Reportedly, the fund, which the US Department of State provided to the anti-DPRK plot organizations in South Korea annually from 2009, has reached to 20 million odd US dollars. The US's hostile policy towards the DPRK that perpetrated unprecedented political isolation and economic blockade, military pressures, and anti-DPRK smear campaigns, and attempted to inflict even a nuclear holocaust, clearly shows how stubborn and extreme a policy it is. I think I might skip to the end shortly. Although it's a very good analysis, right? Yeah. If our friends from Korea will permit that, and we will share all of the statement with you in full so that you can fully understand the analysis. Yeah. As I looked at the number of pages still ahead of me. Yeah. But seriously, yes. It is a desire of humanity to live in a peaceful world free from aggression and war. And yet, peace does not come of its own accord simply because they are desirous of it. It is something that we can achieve and defend only when we are strong enough to contain the imperialist tyranny. We strongly condemn the US's hostile policy towards the DPRK, which infringes upon sovereignty, right to existence, and development of the sovereign state, and US resolutions unreasonably adopted to suffocate the DPRK, and all forms of inhumane antagonistic maneuvers against the people of the DPRK should immediately be stopped. We wish you a successful meeting and expect that all the participants in this meeting, with constant attention on the developments of the situation in the Korean Peninsula, would take necessary measures to denounce US hostile policy towards the DPRK and moves of sanctions, and render support to the just cause of the Korean people. We'd like to meet you in person soon enough after the COVID-19 epidemic is stamped out as early as possible, and share constructive opinions to safeguard the peace and security of the world. In conclusion, I wish all of you successes in your work with good health in this pandemic health crisis, and sincerely wish happiness to your families. Thank you for your attention. Oh Ryong-il. And I wish I had learned some Korean. The next time I go to the I've already been to the Democratic Republic, the People's Democratic Republic of Korea, and it was an amazing trip. So next time I will make sure that one of the things I do is learn 2 or 3 chants for occasions like this.
Okay. Thank you, Malcolm. And thank you to the Korean Committee for Solidarity with the World People. Yeah, we don't have a Korean chant, but maybe we'll just go with this. Long live the people of Korea. Down with US imperialism.
Yes, imperialism.
All right. So next, I'll pass the floor to Hassan El Jaja from Palestine.
I said, I hope I can capture your attention for 8 minutes. Is it too much to ask for? Thank you. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Comrades, sisters and brothers, in the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful, peace, mercy, and blessings of God be upon you. Thank you all for giving me the chance to address this meeting, which is a step forward in the blessed route towards human cooperation, justice, freedom, and dignity for peoples all over the globe. 754 resolutions from the UN General Assembly against Israel, the apartheid state, and for the Palestinian rights. 97 resolutions from the Security Council and 96 resolutions from the UN Human Rights Council. A total of 947 resolutions over 74 years materially are not worth the paper used to print them, except for the moral value. The apartheid state of Israel was founded actually to partition the Arab nation. And here I have to state a verse from Holy Quran. O people, we created you from a male and female and made you into peoples and tribes so that you know one another. The most honorable you with God is the most pious of you. God is all-knowing. This is Islam, the cosmopolitan culture. No mention of Arabs of any diversity or variation within the region or any region or part of the world. Not even certain religion. No white, black, red, yellow skin colors. Only people on earth. Here, we can clearly differentiate between the true, authentic Islam, Daesh, which were created, funded, backed, led, and used by the international and regional people's enemies in order to unload this great culture and religion from its social and political content. The Arabic language, being the language of the Quran, does not replace any language, but rather popularize one which the different people can understand and use to communicate. Please search for Campbell-Bannerman Conference of 1907 in London. to the peoples of the region and friendly to European countries and their interests is the practical and immediate implementation of the proposed methods and approaches. Close parenthesis. We should note here that this document has disappeared from the British official archive. Are you still with me? We in the region are the target of the Western imperial powers. As everywhere else in the world, divide and conquer. This strategy has been going on for very long. Most of the regimes in the region are actually puppets of the West, and the national leaders who work to the benefit of the people, mainly aiming to achieve civil peace and community security, leading to national sustainable development, are overthrown, killed, or pushed to failure through different internal or external forces and methods. It is very important to mention here that during the Crusaders' Wars from 1096 till 1291, where the colonizing European forces used religion to conquer the region and occupy the heart, namely Palestine, our great leader and master, Salahuddin Ayyubi, led the local armies in 1187 and conquered the occupiers, pushing them out of Jerusalem, the very heart of Palestine. For everybody's knowledge, he was a Kurdish Muslim. And perhaps our brethren, the Kurds, are still paying for that historical victory through different internal and external conspiracies planned and led by the West. PLO decided to go for Oslo Agreement in 1993, then Oslo II in 1995, which was supposed to be the base of a peace process leading to a two-state solution in Palestine, guaranteed by the USA and European countries to be realized and executed. This proved to be an empty mirage as usual, where the Jewish Zionist settlements in the West Bank quadrupled to reach around 750,000 after the Oslo Agreement, covering all the West Bank occupied in 1967. Not much more. Now, with all this chaos in the region, our people in Palestine are retreating from the two-state solution to one democratic state solution where all of the people's constituents can live under our Palestinian democratic state as equal citizens after destroying the Zionist regime and liberating our nation. To achieve that, our people has the right and is using all methods, including revolutionary violence, to defend our masses, villages, and lands against the apartheid racist Israeli army and state. This is guaranteed by all human, international, religious, and natural rights and accords. Liberating Palestine has always been the aim of the Arab people, and thus the progressive resistance forces in the region are doing all efforts in all fields to back the Palestinian resistance, the Palestinian growing resistance that has crossed the narrow organizational, territorial, religious, tribal, and family affiliations to the broad, healthy national struggle that is growing in spite of the many and difficult hindrances that the official Palestinian Authority is practicing in accordance with the Oslo agreements that Israel has used only to confiscate more lands and kill and kick more people out of our lands. We are very confident of our victory together with all peace-loving peoples of the world, as absolutely confident that the sun will shine tomorrow, and look forward to welcome you, perhaps soon, in our beloved liberated nation. We are partners in this struggle and in the inevitable coming strategic victory, inshallah. Power to the people.
All power to the people.
Thank you, Hassan. From the river to the sea,
Palestine will be free.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free. All right. Well, to repeat a question that Hassan asked, are you still with us? Are you still with us? All right. Well, we've heard from our comrades from Kurdistan, from Korea, and now from Palestine. And now we're going to go to a video from Louis Halandoni, the Chief International Representative of the National Democratic Front of the Philippines.
Dear comrades and friends of the International People's Front, I warmly congratulate you for building an international united front against imperialism and all reaction. In the face of the ever-increasing exploitation and oppression being inflicted on the peoples of the world, it is necessary to unite and fight effectively and engage in a militant struggles against imperialism. United in will and action, the exploited and oppressed people can overcome all obstacles and defeat imperialism and together achieve national and social liberation. They shall win victory over imperialism. Dear comrades and friends, I wish you the utmost success in your determined efforts to build a powerful anti-imperialist and anti-fascist international united front. Dear comrades, mabuhay kayo. Salamat.
Thank you, Louie. Ang tao, ang bayan. Ngayong yung malaban is the one we all know too. Imperialismo. Feudalismo. Rukrata capitalismo. Marcos mismo. Fascistang Estado. All right, give it up, give it up. Let's go.
Thank you, Luis Jalandoni. And now to present a cultural performance, may we call on Himigrante and the cultural group of migrant workers here in Phuket, Thailand. With them is Nato Reyes of Bagong Alansang Makabayan in the Philippines. Let's give them a big hands, Nato and Himigrante.
Dinig sa ano? Dinig sa Zoom. Yung instrumento. Nasa nating ano? Anong remedyo natin? Hindi kaya sa Zoom. Hindi ko marinig. Hi. Don't you know? Talking about a revolution sounds like a whisper. Don't you know? Talking about a revolution sounds like a whisper. While they're standing in the welfare lines, crying at the doorsteps, those armies of salvation, wasting time, the unemployment line, sitting around, waiting for a promotion. Don't you know? Talking about a revolution sounds like a whisper. Don't you know? Talking about a revolution sounds like a whisper. Who people gonna rise up, take their share? Who people gonna rise up, take what's theirs? Run, run. Final things are starting to turn. Talk about revolution. Oh. Suddenly the tables starting to turn. Talk about revolution, oh, while they're standing in the welfare lines. Crying at the doorsteps of those armies of salvation. Wasting time in the unemployment line. Sitting round, waiting for a promotion. Don't you know? Talking about a revolution sounds like a whisper. Talking about a revolution sounds like a whisper. Finally, the tables are starting to turn. Talk about revolution. Oh, finally, the tables are starting to turn. Talk about revolution. No. Revolution, no.
Oh, testing, testing. All right, give it up again for Himigrante. Special guest Nato. I guess that's the and Michael and Michael. Oh, we have okay, that's a bit better. Okay, thank you again. And by the way, the Tunes, I guess that makes it the North Atlantic Tunes Organization, Nato over here. Something, yeah, you know. Anyway, that was Masters of War by Bob Dylan and Talking About a Revolution by Tracy Chapman. And so now, again, because this is a hybrid event and we're joined by people from all over the world, we also have some statements coming in both virtually and in person from our members, some of our founding members of the International People's Front. So first off, joining us online to give a solidarity message from the International Women's Alliance is Donna Danina. So, hey, Donna, the floor is yours now.
Hello, can folks hear me? I can't seem to turn my camera on, but I'm going to go ahead and just share. Thank you for the introduction, Cody. Very honored to be here to represent the International Women's Alliance. On this very historic occasion, especially amidst a growing and worsening crisis. So I think, being part of this historic launch of the International People's Front, it's really incumbent upon all of us to build a broad united front of various people's organizations and groups to respond to what really are the people's aspirations for change. They're not only demanding it, they're clamoring for it. And still many more do not know that change is even feasible against this tyrant of a system we call imperialism. On this historic occasion, it's important for our women not just to be represented through IWA, but to be active participants in this International People's Front, as they, after all, make up half of the world's population, while also enduring the worst forms of exploitation and violence. So we women of IWA wholeheartedly affirm our commitment to the International People's Front to unite women across all sectors, especially working women, peasant women, and migrant women. And we would be honored to work alongside all of the amazing organizations that are represented here today. We will fight so that no woman has to endure another day away from her children working in other countries. No woman has to endure another day of abuse from their employers, and no woman has to endure rape and other forms of violence until all women and all people realize true and genuine liberation, free from the chains of exploitation. So thank you again for everyone being here and on this founding day for the IPF. I wish I could be there in person. I feel like I missed a very lively performance by the Himigrante. It was hard to hear the instruments, but I'm sure there will be other recordings of it. So thank you again very much, everyone, for having Iwa here today.
Thank you, Donna, and we hope you get well soon.
Thank you.
And now, to present the International Migrant Alliance, here's Aaron Keradoy. Aaron, 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 Aaron.
I became a chant. So on behalf of the International Migrants Alliance and of course our chairperson, Ms. Annie Lestari, who's now in Hong Kong, we are very happy to be here with everyone. Since the start of the process of building People's Front, the IMA has been there. The IMA, for everybody's information, is an alliance of migrants, immigrants, refugees, and other displaced people's organizations. We are present in around 35 countries, and we have a membership of around 140 organizations. And we believe that the involvement of the IMA in this People's Front will further will further advance the struggles of migrants, refugees, immigrants, and displaced peoples against exploitation, against violations of rights, and of course, ultimately, the struggle of the IMA against forced migration and the commodification of people, of migrants, will be greatly enhanced and supported by various people, sectors, and other organizations within the IPF. So we are very happy to be part of the IPF, and we will continue to be part of the people's struggles for freedom, democracy, justice against imperialism, and all other reactions. Thank you very much, and long live international solidarity.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, Aaron. So up next, of course, I like it, the script literally says, of course. So, of course, up next, of course, is Paul Belisario from the Indigenous Peoples Movement for Self-Determination and Liberation.
Hello to everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to those who are watching. Let me read this poem, A Song of Hope from a First Nation activist and a staunch fighter for indigenous people's rights. Look up, my people. The dawn is breaking. The world is waking to a bright new day. When none defame us, no restriction tame us, no color shame us, nor sneer dismay. Now brood no more on the years behind you. The hope assigned you shall the past replace. When a juster justice, grown wise and stronger, points the bone no longer at a darker race. So long we waited, bound and frustrated, till hate be hated and cast the post. Now light shall guide us, no goal denied us, and all doors open that long were closed. See plain the promise, dark freedom lover, night's nearly over, and though long the climb, new rights will greet us, new mateship meet us, new joy complete us in our dream, new dream time. To our fathers, the pain, the sorrow, our children's children, the glad tomorrow. It's the Song of New Hope from Old Geru, from Australia First Nation activist. And from IPMSDL, there's no way to carry the struggle of indigenous peoples for right to self-determination and liberation, but by linking with the broadest people's front against imperialism. From the onset of the vision of building an anti-imperialist and anti-fascist front that welcomes a wide array of groups, peoples, and communities, the International IPMSDL has been there. It has been active to try and bring forward the voice and stories of indigenous peoples, national minorities, First Nations, Aboriginal, ethnic groups, tribes, and other oppressed nations and nationalities. IPMSDL tried its best to join the efforts to highlight the link of their fight against fascism and imperialist war to the fight for ancestral lands, ways of life, culture, their very existence, and the right to determine their tomorrow. Essentially, the right, the fight for your future. This fight is part of the many facades, the colorful and militant struggles for self-determination and liberation, the struggles of our West Papuans brothers and sisters, the Karen people and the many ethnic nationalities in Myanmar, the Maya Chiorti in Guatemala, the Manipuri, the Assamese, the Zongo people and the tribes of Northeast India, and all the way to the Ogiek-Sengwers in Kenya, the Ogonis in Nigeria, the indigenous peoples in Bangladesh, and of course in the Philippines. Since IPMSDL's formation, it has had a clear stand in rooting the cause of racism, discrimination, marginalization, ancestral land plunder, and exploitation from imperialism and its colonial legacy. It is only right for IPMSDL to work side by side with the broadest anti-imperialist movement fighting for a brighter future for indigenous people and all people. Congratulations to the International People's Front, defend ancestral lands, struggle for self-determination, down with imperialism. Nasagot kayo. Down with imperialism. Long live international solidarity.
Beautiful, beautiful space. Rasa, people are writing here, people coalition on food sovereignty.
Thank you. We, People's Coalition on Food Sovereignty, are very proud to be part of this very important day. So on behalf of peasants, farmers, fisher folks, herders, rural women, indigenous, youth, we are really grateful for you to giving us this opportunity. We think that food sovereignty is very important and crucial to achieve our goal of a just world. Without food sovereignty, it's impossible. I remember a little poem where I was born in Palestine that says, as long as I have an olive tree, a lemon tree, or even a cactus, I can exist and I can resist. So this summarizes how important is food sovereignty. And I would like to end by reminding us of Kissinger, the criminal foreign minister of US, who said, if you want to control states, control oil. If you want to control people, control their food. So let's prove him wrong, and let's prove that his dream will never come true. Thank you so much.
Check, check, check. On. Okay. Oh man, I've always wanted to say this. Down with Henry Kissinger. Thank you so much, Razan. Thank you, People's Coalition for Food Sovereignty. Not much longer. It's okay. Next, I want to call up my dear comrade, also from the belly of the U.S. Beast, put it together for Rhonda Ramiro from the Resist U.S.-led War Movement.
Thank you. Now everybody knows I'm from the belly of the beast too. The Resist US-led war movement is honored to be with you at this launch of the International People's Front. The launch of the IPF is taking place in the midst of war and militarism throughout the world. Like our comrade Nilofer had said, over 488 conflicts throughout the world, including the Ukraine war, prolonged US-backed Saudi war in Yemen, deployment of US Special Operations Forces and drone strikes in Somalia and all across the African continent. Israel's escalation of violent attacks and continuing occupation of all of Palestine. Military drills involving tens of thousands of US, NATO, and allied military personnel from multiple countries taking place near the Korean Peninsula, along Russia's Arctic region, in the Pacific Rim, and many other regions in close proximity to disputed territories. From Pakistan to Puerto Rico, the US even uses flood and hurricane relief as a Trojan horse for even more military domination and war preparation. The fact that war dominates the globe rather than peace is inherent to this political system of imperialism, to this imperialist system, excuse me. War is the way imperialism chooses to resolve the problems of the severe economic crisis, disease, famine, climate change that it itself created. Fascism, as we know, is the other side of imperialism, as the reactionary ruling classes and their puppets militarize society to repress the people's democratic rights and prevent us, or try to prevent us, from rising up against constant exploitation of our labor and plunder of our resources. In Resist, we know that the only way to end war and realize a just and lasting peace is by resolving the root causes of unpeace in the world. The drive for peace will only come from the people, ourselves, united in struggle against imperialism and all reaction. We must be the ones to carry the torch of the many examples of the masses united in struggle against imperialist war and militarism throughout history and up to the present day, such as the militant protests against US bases and troops in Japan, Korea, the Philippines, Australia, New Zealand, Hawaii, and many other countries. The widespread and organized rejection of US-led military agreements, such as NATO, the Quad, the AUKUS, the indigenous people fighting for sovereignty against militarized land grabs in India, Canada, the Philippines, West Papua, Australia, and all across the world. And the long worldwide movement against the proliferation of nuclear weapons and for their eventual abolition. These are the movements that should be celebrated, and these are the movements that we all hope to draw into the IPF. So as we launch the IPF today, Resist US-led War Movement pledges to link arms with all of you here and with other anti-imperialist movements fighting for the foundations of a genuine just peace. A just peace which asserts and defends the collective rights of communities, peoples, and nations, including civil, political, economic, social, and cultural rights. A just peace which recognizes and upholds the liberation of nations from foreign economic and political intervention and military occupation, because we know peace can never be achieved as long as there are nations and people under direct and indirect colonial subjugation. So together with you, Resist looks forward to fighting for peace by fighting for justice, social equity, sustainable development, employment, economic and food sovereignty, freedom of oppressed peoples and nations from reactionary aggression and violence, the health and well-being of our communities, and solidarity amongst all peoples. Thank you.
Check. All right. Thanks, Rhonda. So here's a chant we like to say and resist a lot. So the response is stop the US war machine. Can we try it? All right, let's try this. From Palestine to the Philippines. From Kurdistan to New Orleans. All right, thank you. There's not a lot that rhyme, but I promise we're going to get an archive going in Resist, and we're going to do these more and more. Awesome. All right.
Let's give the floor to Ajay Kumarja from Asia Pacific Research Network.
Thank you, Cody and Helda. Asia Pacific Research Network is extremely pleased at the launch of the IPF and honored to be a part of it. We wish and we are sure that IPF will be able to bring anti-imperialist and democratic movements and organizations in this critical times, where we are lunging from one crisis to another to rid of the imperialist powers, fascist states in collusion with crony capitalists. The crisis of capital and unsustainability, food and hunger, usurpation of rights and resources of the people, and unleashing pandemic upon them, as well as the financial crisis, are manifestations of such greed and lust for power. But they are also call for people to reclaim power. It also serves as a reminder to our own governments who are keen and willing to become part of this unholy alliance at the cost of trampling the lives of their own citizens. We look forward to contributing through the critical role of people's research, not only in disrupting hegemonic fascist powers, but also empower communities and people's organizations through knowledge, insights, experience, cooperation, and coordination. Thank you. People united.
All right, thank you, IJ. Next, can this on? Check, check, check. We good? Oh, we are good. Cool. Next, we're gonna move on to Peter Murphy from the Workers International Struggles Initiative, or Work-Ins. Come on up, Peter.
I want to say thank you to Paul for reading the Ujuru's poem. It was so beautiful. I come this feeling. I want to congratulate all of us, everyone here in the room, all those online who've worked through all those phases of outreach from ILPS that have brought us to this point of the launch of the International People's Front. I'm sure that you share some of my frustration or feeling of frustration, because we have this sense that humanity and the planet does not have time to see how all these crises we know of unfold. Yet we have to take the time to bring the people's organizations together in a real and substantive solidarity for democracy and independence against imperialism. The International People's Front is a shift in the effort to try a sort of combination of openness, respect, cooperation, and a step away from debating our ideological differences. Let's really try this one, see how good we can do it. So I'm from the Workers International Struggle Initiative, Work-Ins. I'm also from the Philippine Australia Union Link in Sydney. So from the workers' side, we know we have a big contribution to make to overcoming these ecological, social, economic, and political crises before us. We are inspired in this effort by all of you, by working with all of you. So let's advance this struggle. I've got a chat. All right. Thank you to Rhonda for mentioning the AUKUS. So 1 year ago, these idiots did this AUKUS thing. It means Australia, UK, US. Ugly, ugly word. It's like make the British Empire great again, something like that. But it is very dangerous. So we chant no to AUKUS.
No to AUKUS.
No nuclear submarines.
No nuclear submarines.
No war with China. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Peter. And now let's give the floor to Nato Reyes from Bayan, Philippines. Wow.
Hello again. Also a part-time entertainer. We'd like to thank the organizers for inviting Bayan. We are fully supportive of the initiative to establish the International People's Front, especially in this seemingly very bleak situation all over the world, where the crisis is worsening, where war has broken out in some parts and war is threatening to break out in other parts of the world. It is a very difficult situation for the oppressed peoples, especially exposed. All the weaknesses and injustices and inequalities have been exposed during the 2 years of the pandemic. So as we try to build international solidarity, greater linkages, and more cooperation, we hope that the International People's Front would serve as a vehicle for us to talk, to update, and to work together to defeat imperialism on a global scale. Mabuhay po kayo! Mabuhay ang sambayan Pilipina! Mabuhay ang mamamayan lumalaban sa buong mundo! Long live international solidarity!
Okay, let's hold that together. Long live. Woo! Thanks, everyone. Oh, yeah, let's social distance with the mics. Maybe they're called. Okay, we're gonna continue on, I believe, with our messages from our IPF members. Next, we're gonna go online, live to a message from Yasmin Ahmed, just upstairs, from the International Youth Brigade. So Yasmin, if you can hear us, it's all you.
Hi, hello, comrades. I'm not able to turn on my camera for some reason, so I will just talk to you. I am very happy to be speaking at the launch of the IPF on behalf of the Youth Brigade, which first met in June of this year at a youth camp that we held in the Netherlands. And we discussed the issues that we were facing in our locations. We had youth from the Netherlands where we were based, Philippines, Myanmar, the US, Kurdistan, Korea, where else? Ireland, to name a few. And over the weekend, we identified some areas and that we wanted to work on and objectives towards building the unity of youth of all sectors and nationalities, so that we could take action on the pressing issues that we were facing, and to provide a shared platform to draw on the popular activities and struggles of the youth communities and organizations that will be a part of the Youth Brigade's shared archive of resources, so to speak, and to work towards developing a progressive and revolutionary culture of action and solidarity to carry into the next generation. And we think that this all this work will go very well with the International People's Front. And one of the main methods that we will facilitate achieving these objectives is by bringing youth together from across the globe into youth brigades that will visit and integrate into specific sites of struggle in different places. We particularly would like to send brigades to where there are national liberation struggles ongoing, as these are in the highest level of confrontation with the imperialist enemies. And I will now just read to you our manifesto that we wrote at the end of our camp. Across the world, youth are beset by a severe and existential crisis of livelihood. Powerfully oppressive forces, be they state, corporate, religious, or military, are driving the world towards an ever worsening disaster. The COVID-19 pandemic carries on amidst a desperate lack of affordable healthcare. Prices of housing and even basic goods are skyrocketing. War ravages entire countries as regional powers
Yasmin, just sorry, you're back.
using the crisis to win people over to their reactionary agendas for profit and power in service to imperialist interests. This crisis impacts youth especially. Rising debt and poverty rob us from a future of empowerment and generational independence. Pandemic lockdowns have made education and political mobilization nearly impossible. Young people are forced to migrate for work and because of war. And in the wars of aggression waged across the globe, whether by state mandate or promises for steady employment, young people are used as cannon fodder to fight wars they don't believe in. We are faced with solving the climate crisis inherited from the generations that came before, with their decades of overproduction and policies of neoliberal globalization. Where national liberation is still being fought for, these problems are felt even more acutely. The youth are heavily repressed for their resistance, arrested, tortured, and made into political prisoners. With the seeming lack of power and agency in society, the additional pandemic of mental health crisis drives many youth to nihilism and tragically, even suicide. The situation calls for an urgent solution, and youth are rising above societal apathy and entering into political awakening for the first time. Young people are conducting political education and mass propaganda to teach ourselves and the older generations progressive perspectives on the world and how to change society. We are intervening into public opinion through street actions and art, serving the people through mutual support and mass organization, and even taking up arms to fight for a liberated future. The youth of today recognize the need for an internationalist perspective and an active role in amplifying and popularizing the demands of people of all ages. From Palestine to the Philippines, from Mexico to Kenya, from Turtle Island to South Asia, youth are demanding systemic change. There is a need for us to organize ourselves and fight for the freedom of all people and planet against imperialism and all forms of oppression and exploitation. And thank you. And we look forward to building with you as the Youth Brigade in the International People's Front and learning in an intergenerational way as well. Thank you very much, comrades. And congratulations on the launch of the IPF.
Thank you, Jasmine. And we hope you get well soon. And the next is for our beloved sister, Azra Syed, from the International People Research Network. The floor of yours, Azra.
Good evening, comrades. I come from a formation which is very new at the moment. It's the International People's Research Network. It's a collaboration of various research networks across the globe. And we are still on our way to work. But I think what stands for us is to know your enemy. We must know our enemy. That is the first call of people's research, because we are facing an enemy which thinks it is undefeatable. But we know that the people's resistance is the one which is undefeatable. And so, from what everybody has said since we launched the International People's Front, from the economic crisis which besieges our countries, our people, the debt crisis which leaves people hungry for days, the climate crisis which has left millions across the globe without food and shelter or a home, for the millions who are accosted by militarization of the imperialist world, the people of Palestine, the people of Pakistan, the people of Afghanistan, Syria, Philippines, Yemen, and the the list is so long, and has been said by my sister Nilofer in the very first speech that was made here. We know what stands in front of us. And for us, it is critical that our people research not for becoming famous with bloody PhDs or a degree or a university academic career, but for the people to know their enemies, to know their strengths, to fight and liberate, to fight and overcome, to live for just and lasting peace. That is what we stand for when we talk about research, when we talk about people's research, when we talk about grassroots. So I will end with that, but I have a chant in Urdu. Let me explain the word imperialism in Urdu. In Urdu, we call Sam Raj. The word Sam is Uncle Sam. And Raj comes from the word British Raj to American Raj. So the word is Samraj. And we say Murdabad, which is kill imperialism. Okay? And then the other slogan is Inqalab, which is revolution. Inqalab Zindabad. Okay? So I will say Samraj.
Thank you, Azra. And we'll always remember that we have to research so that we have what we need to fight and nothing less. Next up on our list of statements, we're going to have a written message from Peace for Life that's going to be read by Sept.
So hard to follow Azra's footsteps. But we have here a message coming from our friend from the People's Forum on Peace for Life, an international faith-based movement and forum for peace and justice, engaged in building interfaith solidarity and mobilizing the power of spirituality against the life-threatening forces of global hegemony. We express our strong support and solidarity to the International People's Front as its formation is launched today, September 28th in Phuket, Thailand. Peace for Life welcomes the timeliness of IPF's formation. As the whole creation groans because of the sufferings brought about by the combined economic, military, political, and cultural domination by the US-led empire, the necessity for the oppressed peoples of the world to challenge and mobilize against this evil is not only correct, but an imperative of our time. An international united front of the world's peoples against imperialism, which IPF represents, will be the turning point for humanity and the planet Earth to renew itself and experience fullness of life for all. Down with imperialism, people of the world unite. Long live International People's Front. Reverend Alan Ray Sarte, Peace for Life Coordinator. But wait, there's more. I have another statement here from the Philippines-Palestine Friendship Association. The Philippines-Palestine Friendship Association, a network promoting solidarity for the struggles of the people of Palestine and the Philippines, expresses its strong endorsement and solidarity to the International People's Front as its formation is launched today. The Philippines-Palestine Friendship Association welcomes the historical significance of IPF's formation as an international united front of the world's peoples against imperialism and all reaction. The continuing wars of aggression and plunder of world resources, as what is happening in Palestine, in the Philippines, in Ukraine, and elsewhere, are but products of imperialism, which oppressed peoples of the world need to come together in a united front to fight back and win. IPF's formation will therefore tremendously galvanize people's action to victory against the common enemy, imperialism. Long live the International People's Front, down with imperialism. Signed, Dr. Delen de la Paz, Chairperson, Philippines-Palestine Friendship Association. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Tetet. And the next statement is the statement of the People Resource for International Solidarity and Mass Mobilization. It's read by Sylvia Malari. The floor of yours, Sylvia.
Warmest greetings, all of us, from PRISM. PRISM welcomes the establishment of the IPF, the People's Resource for International Solidarity and Mass Mobilization, or PRISM, welcomes the most timely formation of the International People's Front towards building an international united front of the world's peoples against imperialism and all reaction. Imperialism extends its steel tentacles and claws across the entire globe as the principal enemy of all the world's peoples, the whole of humanity, and the entire planet. Its globalist corporations squeeze the sweat and blood of the billions of the working people, derail the development of its countries, and plunder the natural riches of Mother Earth. Its militarist state wage aggressive wars, bully other states, meddle in their internal affairs, and oppress their own people at home. The era of the unipolar hegemony of US imperialism is now ending. In its place, the so-called multipolar world is turning out to be a volatile mix of intense inter-imperialist rivalries, proxy wars, and the threat of nuclear or generalized war. The imperialist-backed wars, reemergence of dictatorships, and police state measures, including supposed COVID-era restrictions against basic civil liberties in the face of growing social unrest and organized people's resistance, are all signals of a global current of fascism. In this context, PRISM welcomes the formation of the International People's Front in order to coordinate, cooperate, assist, and together fight imperialism and fascism on all levels and in all parts of the world. We pledge our support for its endeavors to the utmost of our capabilities.
Okay, check. Cool. Thank you, Sylvia. Up next, we're getting near the end of our program. We have just a couple left, and I believe I'm passing it off to G. Estrada from the Coalition of Agricultural Workers International. So welcome, G.
On behalf of the Coalition of Agricultural Workers International, or CAWI, we would be very happy to be part of the International People's Front. The non-recognition of agricultural workers because they are seasonal workers has been imperialist globalization's convenient excuse not to uphold their labor rights, decent living, decent wages, decent living and working conditions, and to freedom of association. The struggle to uphold these rights is the agricultural workers' immediate concern, which should lead to their long-term aspiration of being a meaningful part of the struggle for agrarian reforms and national development, which the imperialist countries do not want to happen. So dare to win, dare to struggle, long live international solidarity.
Long live. Thank you, G. And then the last speaker is Kapaing Mariano. That's from ASEAN Peasant Coalition. Thank you, Kap.
Thank you, Helda. Thank you, Cody. From the Asian Peasant Coalition, the warmest greetings of solidarity. The Asian Peasant Coalition warmly welcomes, strongly supports, and firmly in solidarity with the formation and the today's launch of the International People's Front. The Asian Peasant Coalition is an Asia-wide coalition that struggles for the rights of farmers, landless peasants, farm workers, agricultural workers, fisher folk, Dalits, pastoralists, herders, women, and youth across the sectors. The formation of the International People's Front is very timely. Based on the APC's program of action as a democratic and anti-imperialist coalition, the Asian Peasant Coalition will surely cooperate, engage, and participate in the mass campaigns, mass mobilizations, solidarity actions, and activities of the International People's Front. Long live the formation of the International People's Front. Long live people-to-people solidarity. Long live international solidarity. International solidarity. Long live international solidarity. Tunay na reforma sa lupa, ipaglaban.
Thank you, Kapaeng. So we're coming now very swiftly to the end of our program. And before we hand it off to Victor to close us off, we actually wanted to play a brief video that was prepared. So many of the organizations that are here launching the IPF have previously been organizing as an international coordination network, the ICN. And there were a couple campaigns that we carried out together. And we just are wrapping up now a few months of a campaign called Fight Against Imperialist Wars and Free the People. And so we wanted to play a very brief video that commemorates the closing of this important campaign around the recent International Peace Day. So let's play the video now.
A just and lasting peace for me and my organization means self-determination for oppressed people and nations. Real self-determination, not neocolonialism, not economic exploitation, not the right to participate in a joint military exercise, or be a pawn in a proxy war, or host a US military base. Real self-determination, freeing the land, returning it to the people, reuniting families torn apart by forced migration and the labor export, access to healthcare, education, food, and water for the people.
Genuine, just, and lasting peace means liberating women from historical oppression and exploitation, and in establishing an alternative system founded on genuine democracy, freedom, justice, and equality. Peace means creating a society that recognizes, promotes, and protects the rights and interests of women and is void of all forms of exploitation, discrimination, and violence against women.
Just peace means the end of imperialism, the victory of those who struggle, a society ruled by the masses rather than individuals. It means guaranteed basic rights such as food, land, and water for all, the end of all kinds of oppression. It means no individual or company profiting from the mass murder of the working class, and the end of the economic system that upholds this.
As people's researchers and activists, we believe that strengthening people's movements and building global solidarity against intensifying fascist attacks and imperialist plunder will help us carry forward the people's aspiration for genuine development, social justice, and ultimately attain just and lasting peace.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And now we are in the end of the program. Is the closing remark from Victor Garces from the Institute for Political Economy. Time of yours, Victor.
Thank you, Helga. Thank you, Cody. I was given the task to take this launch very successful and to take it to more success tomorrow and for henceforth. I think we all deserve a round of applause and congratulations. It's always a great victory when we put people together. When we unite the people, it is the defeat of imperialism. The more that we unite the people, the more the imperialists lose. And therefore, this is a great day. Congratulations to everyone. Coming together, though, brings us dire. We're facing the urgency of dire situation. Joma already mentioned that the person who already warned us of the collapse of 2009, a few days ago, warned us again that there is an upcoming collapse that is worse than 2009, worse than the pandemic, and that in a few years or in a year, there will be an upcoming severe depression. Now, those words are not to be taken lightly. And when there is severe depression, then there is the severe conflict, political instability, and of course, for imperialism, it only means two things: fascism and war, which means to say we have to be even more be prepared. And for us, therefore, this united front is, everyone has said it's timely. Why? Because this should been, this is something that we should have been doing before, but now we have to do it with an understanding that we have to be more flexible. We have to be conscious of the urgency of the situation. The United Front, though, is not an easy task. We know that. In each of our countries, bringing people together is difficult because there are different situations, perspectives of people. And all perspectives have to be respected. Otherwise, there's no unity. Therefore, the starting point is mutual understanding. There has also be mutual trust. So sometimes we think, oh, let's understand it. But beyond understanding, there has to be the premise of mutual trust that comes with solidarity. There is actually a right of solidarity. And the right of solidarity is the right from each individual who needs that solidarity to your mother, to your family, to your community, the whole nation, and international, and that is solidarity. And international solidarity is necessary even more because there are forces that want to destroy that solidarity so that they can realize super profits. And you know who we are talking about. We need mutual respect and autonomy, a respect that each of us has our own independence and initiative and autonomy. For us, we have been, therefore, we look at the United Front as a form of coming together into a united front for the purpose of exchange, to create a common view and positions that only comes from understanding and mutual trust, not dictated for us to understand immediately. And of course, a common action that comes from that trust and understanding. Tomorrow, we want to start thinking about what we should do. And ILPS actually has a resolution that highlights 5 areas of work. To each area is a lot of work, but can be summarized in 5 words. One is fight economic exploitation by imperialism. Second, fight climate imperialism and the destruction of the planet. 3, end imperialist war. 4, end fascism. And fourth and fifth, reach, develop, and win liberation for all people. So these are the 5 areas that we would like to focus: liberation, fight fascism, fight war, fight exploitation of the workers, working people, and fight the rape of the natural resources, creating climate change. We have created an international coordinating body that will coordinate this process, and we have agreed on an initial start of building the ways of working that is premised on that, understanding, mutual trust, mutual cooperation. And we have actually started we still have to finalize on who will be the chair. I should not be speaking here because I'm not running to be chair. But anyway, yeah. But for now, it's important for us to know that our first volunteer for secretariat is Tetet. So she has a job to link to with all of us. We expect that the other members of the front will assist, in a cooperative secretariat. But Tetet will just be in the front, and she'll be the slave for all of us. Joking. And finally, we're going to use electronic communication, which means to say we'll use the websites and social media besides our face-to-face activities. So this is our website, the International People's Front. This is the campaigns that have been done under the ICN, which was the precursor of the IPF. If you click that, you will find that that's that's the campaign. That's not the front. But anyway, I just wanted you to go to the website and tell everyone to go to the website. You can sign up there. We'll start bringing out, petitions and so on for electronic means. And of course, you can write contact us in this way. So thank you very much. And for tomorrow, then we have 2 days of work ahead. Congratulations.
All right. Thank you, Victor. Okay. Are you ready to meet the oncoming crisis with fists held high? Are you ready to organize with all the peoples of the world?
Yes.
Are you ready to organize to smash imperialism and fascism? All right, then let's finish with a final chant. So the response is simple. It's rise up, fight back. We gonna try this?
Yes.
All right. When people's rights are under attack, what do? When workers' rights are under attack, what do?
Rise up. Rise up.
When peasants' rights are under attack, what do?
Rise up.
When women's rights are under attack, what do? When migrants' rights are under attack, what do? What do? What do? Then congratulations, because we've launched the International People's Front.
And all our friends and comrades come to the stage for a photo and chance for celebrate the launch of the International People Front.
It's on. Yeah, just to announce that tomorrow at 8 a.m., the commissions will have a briefing here, and then the strategy will be at 10 o'clock. Okay?
Thank you, Victor. We had our fun. Now we got to get to work tomorrow.
Okay. All of the friends and comrades come to the stage. Come on. Come on, Sunny.